We still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Boro, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Good morning, welcome to Three's a Crowd, the North East Football Podcast. No Rye, we've not heard from him. We've heard from him last night, but just realised he hasn't added himself to the platform, so I'm not sure where our Boro pal is. I hope he's all right, especially after recent events. I'm sure he will be. But,
we have a message. I have zero internet. I'm trying. Sorry. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good. This is not a death's door or passed on to the.
That's true. That's true.
We're only doing 45 minutes today, and we're having a week off next week. I'm having a week off, so the lads have taken the opportunity to have a week off as well. Ryan has a week off every other week anyway, so it's not really going to make much difference to him. But as always, plenty to talk about. We'll of course look towards the World Cup match tonight. England playing their quarter-final game against Norway. Been lots of talk, lots of publicity. Now it's time to put that aside and England to crack on with it. Predictably, we have Argentina, France and Spain all in the semi-finals now. France, of course, taking on Spain, and the winner of tonight's match takes on Argentina. So we'll be interested to see what happens with that. I've got to say as well, with this show, we've been doing this how long now, Ted? Three years, is it?
On and off, yeah. So a couple of years on here, and then obviously we did that stint on that radio show that didn't tell the Borough fans that Steve Gibson's wife actually owned the circular badge. But anyway, so around about that.
Well, all I'll say is beware of cheap imitations. Beware of cheap imitation. That's going to be our. That is definitely going to be our tagline. And this is what it's all about, black and white away days. He says, "Oh man, Steve, this channel's going downhill rapidly." Only joking. We've done this for many a year, mate. I tell you what, it is good banter. And I mean, last season was hard for us black and whites. Seeing as though you've made that comment, it was hard for us black and whites, especially. But I thought Ted had the bragging rights. Of course, he did amongst the three of us. But he could have made so much more of it. And I've got to be honest, as a mate, he didn't. So fair play to Ted.
You're one of the few Geordies that hasn't done. You haven't seen my ex lately, have you? As in Twitter, not my ex. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And we do keep politics off here, Toon Army. But yes, I have written a poem about Binface this week, and it's been hilarious. That if you haven't caught out, anyone not keeping up with politics across in the UK, we have a bin, a man dressed as a bin running for a by-election, which is hilarious. So if anything couldn't get more surreal in England, then it's politics at the minute. So there we go. It's a welcome break. I didn't think I'd say it, but it's a welcome break from football, Ted, because Newcastle United at the moment it's a cross between a soap opera and a reality game show. And to be honest, I'll tell you why. It's because of this particular picture I got sent this week. I'm a Newcastle United player. Get me out of here. And that's what it feels like in a moment. Gordon and Tonali, of course, flanking our skipper Bruno in that picture, that mock-up picture. But that's what it feels like. And yet I'm fairly nonplussed about it all. And people on my podcast at the moment, and UFC Matters, I don't think can believe how calm and nonplussed I am. I think I've become numb to any of this now because of what happened last year with Isaac. And that Isaac thing took it out of me last year. I was physically drained, mentally drained, because I do seven podcasts a week, and of course I'm having to talk about this every day. So I don't get any kind of reprise like the lads do who come on the show. And I think that's probably I don't know whether that's stiffened me resolve or whether it's made it easier to deal with all of this crap that's flying around. I tell you what it has done. It's woken me up to the bollocks that some of these people talk online. Your David Ornsteins and the like, your Fabrizio Romanos, and how they essentially manipulate the situation. And who are they manipulating it for, Ted, is the question. And you've already had a little taste of it yourself with Granit Xhaka. You know, with the Granit Xhaka story. So, what's your take on all of that?
Well, I mean, firstly, I've been trying to do a little bit more on Twitter and kind of reading, or X as it's known now, and reading some of the comments. And I'm glad to see that it's not just Sunderland fans who had really broad mixed reactions. Some are going after Romano, some are going after the player, some are going after the manager, some are going after the ownership of the club. And that applies to both Sunderland and Newcastle in recent weeks for that sort of thing. We've essentially looked out. You know, it's great. Xhaka's staying. He's released his statement. He's done what we thought we would. What would happen, where the sort of the players' management has taken the brunt of kind of looking at orchestrating a move away. And it looks to all ends that the Bruno situation is very, very similar. Now, for me, Newcastle need to stand firm on this, as we did with Chelsea, and it's somebody who has a lot higher resale value than what Granit Xhaka does as well, on account of age, and obviously got a bit more Champions League experience as well. So they need to stand firm on this, and if he is going to try and force the move, then they need to absolutely milk this deal for all the worth, because it's an old adage that no player is bigger than the club. I think what's worrying Newcastle fans at this moment in time is the likes of Gordon's already gone, Tonali's already gone, and I saw something, I think it was from yourself, Steve, where it was talking about a hard reset. Now, Newcastle are in a very unique position where they're getting good money for these sales. The recruitment needs to be spot on, but it's a great chance to actually do that hard reset. There's no European competition this year for them. They've got the league to concentrate on. They've got a coach there. I think Eddie's getting pelters, and it's for stuff that isn't even his making. But that by the by, you're in a lot better position than what Sunderland were when we had to do our hard reset, because our reset was done in the midst of going down from Championship into League One. Newcastle aren't anywhere near that sort of danger. So it's a good chance. And you look at the business that they're already concluded. The young Dutch player, you've got a French under-21 goalkeeper. They're going for younger, and they're going to sort of replenish that squad with a bit more youth in it. It's going to take time to turn that around. These lads aren't going to step in and be absolute world beaters right away. You're going to have to, probably ride out maybe a couple of seasons of mid-table. But I see it as a positive step. And if a player wants to be away, then they're going to want to be away. They can force the issue. It damages their reputation, of course it does. But if they're going to be picking up 300 grand a week, then I would love to be called a prat for that. It's rather than picking up the 30 grand a week that we do for doing this podcast.
I wish. I think
you're getting paid.
Hello, Ry. Good morning. We're just glad you haven't passed you over to the other side, mate, because you hadn't done it yourself. I was like beginning to do the last rites on the show at the start, but you're relegated to the sidelines anyway. I'll take charge this week, Bonnie lad, so don't worry about that.
Mate, I do apologise.
We're talking about Bruno, mate, and the scenario of that we're seeing at Newcastle. I mean, obviously, like I made a bit of a joke of it at the start. Like I'm a Newcastle player. Get me out of here. It's a bit like a soap opera and a reality program mixed into one at the minute. But it's these in the know accounts, your Fabrizio Romano's, your David Ornstein's, your Ben Jacobs now as well. And Ben is somebody who I got to know quite well. I've met him a couple of times. I've had him on my podcast a lot. When he comes on my podcast, he does big numbers. But I did say this week, people are asking me if I'm going to get Ben Jacobs back on the show, and I'm not, because I don't want to be promoting somebody who is in my mindset now. Unfortunately for me, is somebody who now seems to be pushing out narratives which are stirring up problems for my club. And I'm not saying he's directly responsible, and I don't want to fall out with Ben because I like him in so many ways. You know, I can't say anything bad about the lad in that respect. But I just don't think it's very much the same as walking away from, as you guys know, I don't do TalkSport, Sky or anything like that now, because I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want to be somebody standing in front of a camera or on the end of a phone fueling the fire. And at the moment, this Bruno story is just that. It's a story. We haven't seen anything official. We're seeing somebody saying that Bruno said this and Bruno's agent said that and Arsenal have said this. There's no cast iron proof that Bruno Guimaraes wants to leave Newcastle and go to Arsenal. So what's your take on what's happened this week, Ryan?
Yeah, it's been a big week, hasn't it, for Newcastle fans? Unfortunately, It's been one that's come at the timing. I think as well. Obviously, with Brazil exiting the World Cup, it's now comes to the front that and it's sad because we're usually where these journalists get their information from. Some I think are absolute trouble, and they just they drive their narratives because it's what makes money. That's what their job is. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, in a world where everyone's got a voice, it creates fantastic conversation, but it also becomes quite overwhelming and annoying. And a lot of the reporters these days, you just don't know. You just don't know where they're getting their stories from, where they're getting, if it's true, are they legitimate? A lot of these accounts are driven on the amount of likes and clicks that they can get, sort of thing. So, and every reporter, again, doing their job needs to be at the front of it, doesn't it? The first person to break the news. I mean, Ben Jacobs, I've watched him on NUFC Matters a lot, and he was the one that obviously broke the Donald Trump stuff as well within the World Cup, and he was at the front of that. And yeah, look, it's sad because of obviously the 12. From a Newcastle fan's point of view, and I tuned into the three amigos or four amigos, if you're wanting to be truthful this time, Steve.
It's three plus Mitch's dad.
It was interesting to see, obviously, and I think it's easy to write off Newcastle fans, in a space of 12 months, and you got to understand that. I think from a Newcastle fan's point of view is that although 12 months ago the Isak, and everything that happened with Liverpool, that is still quite fresh. I mean, that was the best striker that Newcastle have seen in quite some time, and the way he went about it was absolutely disgusting. And everyone's saying now it's called doing an Isak. I mean, I refuse to go into work probably on Monday, and I'm going to call it. My boss is going to be like, "Where are you?" I'm going to be like, "I'm just doing an Isak." Because
or a Wissa,
famous it is, or a Wissa. So it's and with that, with that news in the back of your mind, then you come to this summer. Unfortunately, the season wasn't to be for what Newcastle thought it would be, with the new signings of Wissa and Walter Mata and stuff like that. And then you come into this summer transfer window and you've got the likes of Gordon wanting to leave, Tonali walking out to go to Spurs, for goodness sake. And then you've got Bruno now. It hurts. It hurts as a Newcastle fan, because the narrative was that with Saudi investment, that Newcastle were going to be in the top six. And everything we've seen is that from the other top six, they're not really letting anyone else in, unfortunately. And the way the Premier League works and stuff like that. And unfortunately now that when you don't have success constantly at these clubs, at our clubs, unfortunately, if you miss Europe for one season, then the players, maybe they do they crave success. They crave that thing. And whether there's any truth in that, I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see, but it hurts. I think as a Newcastle fan right now, it just hurts because, to lose, I think we put it in the WhatsApp, didn't we, lads? To lose that front line of Gordon, Isak, Tonali, Bruno potentially now as well. I mean, they are, four very world-class players that gave Newcastle fans a lot of highlights. And it's like Middlesbrough fans, you know what I mean? Losing Hackney and losing...
But let's go on to that. Yeah, I was going to say, let's go on to that. Look, Middlesbrough have had this for years. There's been...
Correct.
And there's a lot going on at Middlesbrough this week, right? Fill us in on what's been going on over the last 7 days, because it just seems like the stories have been coming as thick and fast outside the riverside as they have been St James's Park.
Yeah, look, it's obviously, without, again, we're driving that narrative of without success, it's hard to hold on to these world-class players. Hayden Hackney wants to be in the Premier League, so he's gone to Everton. Dale Fry, as much, I love him to death, but he wanted a deal. He's 28 years old. He wanted a deal that was going to take him to the rest of his, through to his senior years, and Middlesbrough weren't really ready to come to the party, so he leaves on a free to Birmingham. Now, we look at in the Championship, for those that don't know, if you got your head around Premier League, and both of your sets of fans would, because unfortunately you're both in the Premier League, which is, for losers these days anyway, but we'll get onto that later. The Championship have got new financial ruling, something called ECR or SCR, someone can correct me in the comments, but where you can't spend now 85%, more, it's a limit of 85% of your revenue. So whatever you bring in, you cannot spend more than 85% of it. And that goes on wages. And it's not only wages on players, but it's wages on your staff. It's wages on the club itself as well. So it's trying to stop clubs doing a Leicester City and going so bankrupt that they end up in League One. And all these clubs we've seen, over the years, your Portsmouth and that they're trying to stop clubs getting themselves in trouble. So because of that, Middlesbrough are now having to change the way they act in the terms of sponsorship, stuff like that. We've seen Midnight come in now. Obviously, you'll see Midnight everywhere. It's a betting agency, but some big news on the stadium that's going to be coming out in the next few days. Obviously, the stadium will probably be, has been sold, the naming rights there as well. So we're trying to, live in this new landscape of this new rulings, much like Newcastle, much like Sunderland. And, maybe we have got the money to spend, but we're trying to be, you have to be smart about it. And that's good, I think, in the long run, but it's also difficult because competitive.
Yeah. I mean, look, Ted, the situation at Sunderland this week, it seems to be a lot calmer. I mean, all I see at the moment is positivity coming out of the Stadium of Light, whether it's a new kit launch or whether it's, Xhaka committing himself to the club and, that killing that story dead. I think when we were exchanging messages this week, you were delighted at the way the club is dealing with that kind of issue. The communication's good. So what's your overall feeling about the last 7 days at Sunderland?
Like you say, mate, really, really positive. I think we've just lost Rye again there with a data connection, but never mind. Positive all over the place. In terms of, the coaching staff, we've actually appointed a new head of academy goalkeeping, which is a certain James Montgomery. And yes, he is actually related to Jimmy Montgomery as well. So it's nice. Is it
his granddad, is it?
It didn't actually say in the article I read, Steve. I'm guessing it's some distant relative, but great.
No, I said, is it his granddad? I said, is it his granddad?
Yeah, God, brilliant. Yes, yeah, very good, very good. So yeah, I mean, there's that. There's the goalkeeper kit launch, which again is on the Montgomery theme as well. Absolutely stunning home goalkeeper kit with a dot matrix image of Jimmy Montgomery making the double save at Wembley. So Hummel are back on form with that. In terms of the transfer news, brilliant that Jack has committed to the club and publicly come out with it as well. I think he needed to do that. That was absolutely required. In other terms, in terms of players coming in, look, it's still the same. It's all rumours at this point. There's still a World Cup going on. France is still there, so obviously Dembele can't sign for us just yet.
Is that the big name that you're expecting?
No, definitely not. Look, there's a few irons in the fire that the name Goretzka's been bandied around quite a few times. We're going to be trying to beat up some really, really tough competition to land a signature like that. But there's always the same old names are coming up. The likes of Ahmad. It's not out the question that Sunderland will go in for him. Especially with now being able to give him European football, albeit not Champions League. He's absolutely adored there. He's rather than being a rotational player at Man United, he would be a first-team starter without a doubt and guaranteed. So it's exciting times. The club's going about things in the right way. I'm really, really impressed. I think their handling of the Xhaka situation was exemplary. Keeping a close house on it. Wait until all the dust died down, and there was a few of our fans kind of mouthing off and like sort of jumping the gun a little bit. But unfortunately, in the world of social media, and I know that's what we're doing now, but I don't think we're the hysterical types that you do see on social media. I'm looking at the likes of Geordie Josh, bless him. Just a strange kid, an absolutely strange kid. And that whips up some of the nutters into driving players away and getting on and hurling abuse at them and all that kind of thing. And it's all for a couple of cheap clicks. I'm glad we don't partake in any of that. We just conduct ourselves with a little bit more class. And that's what our club's doing. I think Newcastle are actually handling this really, really well. There's no sort of knee-jerk reactions or anything like that. They're waiting to see, what the actual state of play is. They're going about the transfer business as well. So as a club, I think they're handling it well. And, like you say, right at the top of that, for the last 7 days for Sunderland, all that's missing now is a couple of inbound players, but that's coming. Pre-season started. We've held on to, the crown jewels so far. My ender going for 25 million euros was just an incredible deal. An absolutely incredible deal. Scored some important goals for us. No player's going to be around forever. I'll absolutely miss that chant forever and a day. It was even translated into French. Je déteste Sam Fender for any of the new Stade Rennes fans. But again, I mean, it exemplifies what Sunderland are doing as a club. To be able to turn around a 1 million signing 3 years later and sell them to a French club for 25 million is absolutely class. That's exactly what we need to do. I'm not paying them any attention, Steve.
It's the question. There's a question. You haven't asked the question. Answer the question.
Go on, Ted. When you signed Jimmy Hill's son. Absolute chippers. You're upset. I'm ignoring him. He's just been mean to us. Yes, a good week all in all for Sunderland AFC. Good kit launch. Much better than Middlesbrough's kit launch. Oh, he's right back. He might want to talk about that.
Well, he's Rise come just in time for that favourite time of the week. Jules is in the chat. The cat is ready to be coming out of the bag. And of course, the World Cup is still on. I did mention the big game tonight, England taking on Norway in the quarterfinals. I did make a mistake before. Of course, Argentina have got to play Switzerland to get through to the semi-finals, which is
but FIFA have already seen to it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jordan Henderson's heat map from the other night. Classic that. And of course, credit where credit is due. I know you lads will pay credit to Big Dan Byrne, who came on for his cameo for England and was absolutely immense.
Think of the altitude.
Yeah, you'd probably find yourself back on the bench tonight, but you know what? If he comes on and has another cameo and gets us through to the semi-final, I'm sure that everybody will be thankful of that. Plenty flags out there, plenty supporters out there. Did see a Boro flag against Mexico, which was fantastic. The one flag that's got a bit of traction this week is Sheffield United's flag, with a campaign that this young man is obviously trying to start. Good luck to him with that. That's all I will say. Good to see former Newcastle United and Spurs midfielder Paul Gascoigne dressing up for the occasion. Gazzarella. And we wouldn't be if I got booked and got carried off on a stretcher. Oh no, did you play well though? I was an unused sub. Excellent. And when World Cup's on, but you promise to take her out for her birthday. And there is other sports on, lads. Wimbledon is in full display. How powerful is the Queen's fan? Is the big question from this.
Jesus, I didn't know where that was going there.
All the drama around Newcastle United, it never stops. Another bit of breaking news. Jackie Milburn's statue was told Newcastle United it wants to leave. And I went to a fetish restaurant last night, lads. I got toad in the hole. And I know Ted loves these. Chip has sent some great ones.
Oh my God.
No, it's cum. How about pack testing? Or Kate and Terry McCann?
Oh my God.
Who was better, lads, Pele or Maradona? And Ronnie Cray has been spotted alive and well and shopping in Aldi.
Jesus Christ.
One of these is fake and one of these is actually genuine, lads. First of all, I got the missus an ensuite in the bedroom, but she's not very happy with it. That's the fake one. This is genuine. A non-league football club have got an air fryer in the toilet.
No.
What?
That's genuine, lads. I'm not going to name the club.
They
might have just put it there while they were cleaning something or something. I don't want to get sued. But that is genuine. That is genuine. If Argentina beat Switzerland, they become the first team in World Cup history to reach the semi-finals without facing a single top 10 ranked nation. Just another coincidence, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And even though we're all in a heat wave in the UK at the moment, Christmas is around the corner, lads. So if you're looking for some present ideas for your dad, how about the Yorkshire Slipper? And your sex robot could be hacked and programmed to kill you. How's that different from a real girlfriend?
Well,
I love this as Don Hutchinson as well. He's going mad on Twitter this week because on his Wikipedia he can't get his wife changed. Spouse Debbie Hutchinson. Go on his Wikipedia page, right, and just have a look at the. That's so funny. It really is. Can anyone recommend somewhere local that can stretch my dad's ring? Thanks in advance. Try Barlini, says McDougall Joinery. And County had to walk 15 miles to fetch water for his family. Now he's got to walk 15 miles back because he brought the wrong bucket. And the last two. Dear Deirdre, I was watching my next door neighbour's daughter sunbathing topless from my bedroom window. As I was knocking one out, I turned to notice my wife just stood there, arms folded, watching me. Is she a pervert? That was from Rye in Australia, apparently. And a mate's got 2 tickets for the England versus Norway game on Saturday. He paid £2,000 each, including flights, but he didn't realise when he bought them months ago that it was going to be the same day as his wedding. If you're interested, anybody, he's looking for someone to take his place. It's a Guildford registry office at 3 o'clock. The bride's name is Sarah. She's 5'7" and quite attractive. If you can PM us for more details. Come on, England. Yes, hope you enjoyed them. If you've got any more tweets, send them to me, Rye or Ted. Maybe it's before the show gets closed down or shut down. As I said earlier...
any day now.
You'll not get this on the show of cheap imitations. Anyway, yes,
no.
The cat. Thank you, Roger. Thank you. 15 minutes left. Short show today. And don't forget, we are off next week. We are having a sabbatical. We are all entitled to a summer holiday. We're all having a week off next week. There is plenty of stuff going on each of our respective channels. And Ted has taken X now. I just wanted to ask you, Ted, how have you found X? Because you're upping the ante on there. That's a bit of a playground for me. It has been for years. I've been there for many years now. I've had lots of grief on there, lots of threats. I've had lots of
Yes.
animosity. But how are you finding it on there? Have you settled in nicely?
It's absolutely. I'm getting rather a lot of abuse from some black and whites. None of them related to this show, of course. Lovely people, always classy people who watch this show. It's not X, it's Twitter. I agree, Hell's Bells, because when I refer to I'm spending time on X, my missus tends to ask a few questions about that. So yeah.
Well, if you paid for it, Ted, you've got to use it.
So yes, it's a weird and wonderful playground. It really is. I've already been. I'm actually going to get into shape. I'm trying to get down to my fighting weight because somebody's already told me they reckon that Geordie Josh can take me in a fight. So I'm happy. I'm happy to, Steve. Obviously, you've promoted many events in your past. I'm happy to go in for a charity bout and fly over to the UK for that. We'll sort out what's what. Yeah, absolutely, 100% Geordie Josh. Go and get your ass handed to you for 47-year-old black. No bother, absolutely no bother. I'll have you on toast, mate. Yeah, the rest of it's comical. It really is. The some of the banter between the sets of fans. Some of it absolutely way over dramatized, but it's good fun. I'm starting to just have a little mooch around, just poke fun at a few people. Rye's next. He's on the list. I mean, after that shirt release that Middlesbrough's just gone, I'll leave him alone just to lick his wounds for a little bit. But yeah,
thank you.
I'm enjoying it. My daughter could knock that little knout out.
If anybody wants to send Ted some pictures of Jimmy Hill in various ways, Chippers, just jump on, mate. Yeah, I'm sure he'll love it. Ted fighting the Ibiza boss, says Chippers. Yeah, big nice. Look, I've met him once or twice. I think he's been to different events that I've been to. Look, I can't speak for the lad. Everyone's entitled to do what they want to do on the internet. You've just got to reap what you sow. Sadly, we've all been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Yeah. If you put your head above the parapet, it is there to be shot at. And if you're going to act in a particular way on social media, then unfortunately, that you just don't know what's out there. You don't know who's out there, and you've just got to I would say hold your peace. Don't get too carried away with things. Be polite. Treat others the way that you would want to be treated is the best way. And Jules says X is a place where a lot of keyboard warriors think they're summit. They really aren't. Yeah, but probably that's it. Rye, before you got cut off earlier, Dave asked, what's Rye's take on your new kits? They look cheap for me.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But we were expecting, obviously, the deal with Castor was going to be a big one for Middlesbrough. We thought, obviously, them signing start of last season that we were going to, the anticipation and the thought process behind it was that it's always going to be come the 150th year. That's when you need to get it right. That was on everyone's mindset, was that when Castor signed even 12 months ago, they, we're excited to see what they're going to do for the 150th year anniversary. And I feel like the away shirt, given the third kit and how much you're going to wear it and stuff like that, and I can actually see the one-off 150th shirt as well. But the home shirt for me is a big letdown. I think Castor used they have these templates, and you can see it across the league. Unfortunately, now with Castor and every shirt they made, it's just a different color scheme on the same template sort of thing, and it's sad because it's 150 years. We might not be around for the 200th year in 50 years' time. We're lucky to be and fortunate to be here for the 150th year anniversary, and we get a shirt that didn't show our history and didn't show. They say it just shows the prime red and stuff like that, but I feel like it could have just been done better. And we got, on social media, we got a half an hour warning, and then it was out, all 4 kits, and that's it. There was no video about our history. There's no video about it, building it up or anything like that. And that was my biggest letdown. We went so over the top in the playoffs with this "We Shall Be" video and all this sort of stuff. But unfortunately, we were unable to. I feel like Castor let us down. We were unable to get to a point where it showed our history. And I would have loved. What about our last surviving captain, our last surviving player being involved? What about getting the transporter bridge, in there somewhere? What about, all this sort of rich history of Middlesbrough and the blood, sweat, and tears? And you can see it on your screen now. That's what we got. And unfortunately, that's it. It's just red with gold trim. The new badge obviously is the 150-year anniversary badge. But that's it. And look, it is what it is. We've got to put up with it. But I'm disappointed and I'm sad because 150 years only comes around over 150 years, and we're unable to for the home shirt.
I like that black and white one.
I think. Yeah, it's Preston North End the way that one. It's white and navy blue. That it's and that one I can get because that we wore that when we first started. We had cricket whites that were dyed blue by the lads. They got their pens out and they got all the blue as much as they could, and they put that on it, and that was how they created their kits. So that it's got polka dots on it as well because that's how the lads. It was spotchy back then when we first created, and that's got thing. And you can see the bottom right as well, the navy one off. That was again when the lads just said, we're a bit spotchy, let's just make them all blue. So the very first kit that we did wear was that dark blue. You can see bottom right, but you can see up the top left, that's our home kit, and that's the one we're going to be predominantly. We're going to be in that, majority of the season. We're going to see, and there's nothing there that screams to me 150 years of this beautiful club, and that was disappointing.
Yeah, on the flip side, I mean, Ted, you love your tops. They seem to be just coming out. I mean, you were talking earlier before, before the break about the, the Jimmy Montgomery stuff. The only one I've criticised is your pink one. I think that's bloody awful.
Oh,
but
pink
of course, it's making you a few quid with the old Elvis connection. I had a little meander up to St James's Park yesterday to go and have a look in the Adidas shop before the Paul Weller gig yesterday, and there's nothing in there that really. I was over the moon. There's nothing there so far that's been released that I'll buy. The leaked blue strip still hasn't been confirmed. It's not as blue as I thought. It's not as dark blue as I thought, and even that, I'm thinking, I don't even know if I'm going to buy that. But this is the problem with Adidas. Adidas do 1 year they'll do an exempt range, which is exceptional. You want to buy everything, and then you'll get another year where you just think, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to save me money. I'm just going to give it a miss. But you seem quite happy with yours, Ted, don't you? You think Hummel's really tapped into the feel good factor at Sunderland at the moment.
Yeah, they have, and I made the comment to Rise. Oh, great! That's one of my neighbours starting to drill. That's just excellent stuff.
Totally.
Delightful.
Nothing like being on the job at this time in the morning.
Well, yeah. The missus is going to love that being she's working night shift. Like, never mind. Rather them than me. So yeah, I think Hummel are nailing it. I said to Rye, it's just a pity that Boro didn't still have Hummel as a kit manufacturer, because I think when they tap into the history of a club, you look at the kit, the goalkeeper tops, as I use as a reference there. They brought 3 goalkeeper tops out. That's all sort of a nod. It's the Montgomery collection. So there's a yellow one that's kind of like embedded with Jimmy Montgomery's autograph into it. There's the green one I've already mentioned. Then there's the orange goalkeeper top, which it's like a 70s style design, but with like the number of appearances he made in the club. It's all it's stuff that Northeast fans buy into in general. Is it's history of the club, its heritage. And yeah, I think Castoria have absolutely, dropped a massive one there and not taken advantage of a really, really, what would have been a lucrative one for them, and everybody wanting to buy it.
Mate. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Steve, I completely agree about Adidas. I mean, we had some great kits out of them over the years. Their away kits, especially, we had some absolute belters from them, but then they go and drop the absolute bollock of having that horrible deck chair one, the home kit that we had for a little while. And yeah, Adidas are great until they're not. And when they're not, they absolutely stink the place out. But I mean, the barcode shirts, a point in case there, but that's maybe because everyone's for sale.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, lads, if you have a look, I know we're a Northeast show, but have a look at Hartlepool United as well. And that's what's sad as well. Hartlepool United in non-league, they had a better announcement video than we did for 150 years. They drove into the passion of what makes Hartlepool United and stuff. And it was it was sad. They had an amazing kit launch, and it looks fantastic. And we've got 150 years up the road, and it's nowhere near it.
Only got 5 minutes left. Just breaking news on Newcastle. Antonio Cordero's rejoined Cadiz on loan for the full season. So it's another season where this young Spanish winger who scored 6 times in 39 appearances for Malaga in the Spanish Segunda division in the 24-25 season. Before moving to Newcastle, he's now on loan again. So, that was the only bit of breaking news so far. England tonight, then. England are in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. They take on Norway. The latest team news: Declan Rice, Mark Gahey, and Reece James have all returned to full training and are available for selection ahead of the match. Out suspended is Jarrell Kwanzaa, which is a 2-match ban, of course, which rules him out of tonight's game. And if England were to get through to a semi-final against Argentina or Switzerland, he would be out as well. Jordan Henderson, of course, is now out of the rest of the tournament after undergoing surgery for a broken wrist. Suspension tightrope. Rice, Gahey, Jude Bellingham, and Nico O'Reilly are all 1 yellow card away from missing the semi-final if they were to get through. But yes, this is it. England versus Haaland is the way that it's been billed.
Yep.
Big Dan Burns only conceded 1 goal in 8 against Haaland. Would you start him tonight, Ted, or would you go with a tried and tested and bring Big Dan Burn on if required?
100% I'd start with him. And that's coming from a red and white. I think his appearance against Mexico justified not just his inclusion, but really sent a strong message that they potentially need to be looking at starting him. I think, certainly give him a run out against Norway. Whether he starts or not is another thing. I think he'll certainly make an appearance because you need somebody of that sort of stature who can go physical against Haaland, and he can. He's well capable of doing that. Haaland's no Brian Brobby. Let's make that very, very clear. I think he makes an appearance. I think looking at if we get past Norway, as I think we will. I do genuinely think we will. I think Dan Burn becomes more and more important as that gets nearer to the final. We need that physical presence. I think maybe even a change of shape in the later rounds as well. Because let's face it, I know FIFA are doing their very best to give the World Cup to Argentina without much of a fight anyway. But yeah, they have got some serious attacking talent. And if that's who we're going to face, then we need the likes of Dan Burn who can put up with the physical demands of those sort of sides and have quicker players around them. So, yes, I would absolutely give him a game tonight. I would prefer to see him start. But like we say, Tuchel's got his ways. So far, all right, some of the football hasn't been, fantastic to watch. Let's be honest, the Mexico game aside, but they're getting results, and that's what you need in tournament football. Jacob, who watches this show religiously, my workmate, says that Tuchel's the greatest cup manager that he's ever seen. So let's hope that is what the case is. We've got to put our trust in him now, and yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, I'd like to see Dan Burn play.
Right, would you start Dan Burn tonight?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Tuchel spoke about when he did his squad selection that he selected a squad to deal with everything. And I think when he was mentioning that, he was talking about dealing with the likes of Haaland, dealing with the likes of Messi and these types of games. And I think he's got the squad, so far the selection right, albeit the injuries and stuff like that. The defensive four has been the biggest question mark over the thing. Jed Spence constantly losing right backs, but I think Dan Burn needs to start. I'd be moving Konsa maybe even out wider. You could even see him going to a back three potentially to deal with Haaland if they needed to, but I think Tuchel will be very, very wary of Haaland's threat, and I don't think Guehi and Konsa will be able to live up to the spectacle of it. Unfortunately, I think Haaland's a big team player. He's been in the Champions League. He knows what he's doing, and he's carrying his country. Albeit, hopefully, going further in the competition, we've seen how susceptible England are at the back. So we need a massive performance, and I think Dan Burn is the perfect. It's a perfect opportunity for him to step in.
Yeah, okay. Prediction for tonight's game then. Let's have it, Ted. Are England going to get one step closer to bringing it home?
Well, it looks like I'm starting to get more positive about international football. Yes, England are going to progress. They are going to progress with a 2-1 win. 2-1 win over Norway.
2-1 win, right?
I'm going to go into extra time. I think that we're going to have a 2-2 in the full time. I'm going to think and go into extra time and think Jude's going to score in extra time in the absolute seams, and we're going to win 3-2. And then Tuchel's going to try and jump a fence and he'll break his ankle, and we'll be absolutely into scenes into Argentina next game.
Yeah, I'm going for a 2-1 win in extra time as well. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in this morning. Thanks to Rai for making the effort to get in by phone despite the internet issues. Enjoy the week off. Enjoy the sabbatical. NUFC Matters has got 7 pre-recorded shows starting from tomorrow, so enjoy them. I'll be back live a week on Monday on NUFC Matters, and then me and the lads will be back together the following weekend. Ted, Rai, love you lads. Take care and enjoy the break.
See you,
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat, it's a promise.